In this video, you're going to learn how to take the ultimate revenge on a narcissist. Ultimate. And be sure to stay tuned till the end. The last point is by far the most important. Let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tamie M. Joyce. I'm the founder of Tamie M Coaching and the creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. If you'd like to learn more about how to work with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. So let's talk about how to take the ultimate revenge on a narcissist. Now, a lot of what I'm going to say may sound counterintuitive for many of you. And if that's the case, I want you to consider, how has what you've been doing to this point been working for you? I'm guessing for a lot of you, the answer to that question is not very well. So let's discuss some alternatives to what you've been doing that will actually work for you. And in doing so, you'll become happier, healthier, more peaceful, and free. And I promise you, that is key to the ultimate revenge. Making the decision that it's time now to do what you need to do to start living your best life as your best self without all the pain, drama, and trauma the narcissist brings to the table. So let's unpack this. When it comes to revenge, the very first thing you have to understand is who and what you're dealing with. Wasting your time, your precious vital life force energy, or any other resource attempting to get back at the narcissist in a harmful or destructive way isn't going to help you. In fact, all it's likely to do is get you hurt, more hurt than you've already been. Why? Well, because it's not a level playing field. When we're dealing with someone, anyone who lands on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, we're dealing with a person who is at the very least empathy impaired, if not lacking in conscience entirely. We're also dealing with someone who has an inflated sense of entitlement, and sometimes extremely so. Meaning, a destructive narcissist is capable of, will feel entitled to, go to whatever lengths necessary to get their way, cover their own ass, and win the right fight. They'll be willing to say and do whatever it takes. And you aren't wired that way. There's a limit to how far you'll be willing to go because you have empathy, a conscience, limits, and boundaries. So know up front that going toe-to-toe with the destructive narcissist or devising any kind of plan to avenge yourself is not only counterproductive and really unhealthy, it isn't actually going to get you what you really want. Rather, you'll continue to stay engaged in the toxic dynamic and you'll continue to be a grade A source of narcissistic supply while the narcissist gets off on keeping you in the game. Your goal, if you really want to achieve the ultimate revenge, has to start with you cutting off the narcissist supply. That is the first thing you want to do. And there are a lot of ways that you can do that, not least of which by starting with the gray rock method. And if you want to learn how to stop being a source of grade A narcissistic supply by mastering the gray rock method, you can watch this video here. The point being, there is power in your learning to detach, disengage, to whatever degree you're able to begin with, and then more and more so progressively over time, while you start taking better care of yourself. There is power in putting some space between you and the destructive narcissist in your life. There is power in learning how to stop giving your power away and instead reclaim your power once and for all. And this begins with learning how to detach and remain as calm, cool, and collected as possible while you figure out the rest of your game plan or exit strategy. And I'm not saying this is easy to do, but if your desire is the ultimate revenge, this is where you start. You have to remember that people with a destructive narcissist personality pattern are on a power trip. They have a need to dominate and control their environment and whoever happens to be in it. When you stop walking on eggshells, afraid to upset the apple cart, tippy-toeing around the narcissist for fear of setting them off, When you stop reacting to their every provocation, when you finally give up on the irrational notion that they will ever see you, hear you, understand, or validate you, you start taking your power back. And this, my friend, is where the whole game begins to change. And I get it. Sometimes we need to say what we need to say for us, for ourselves, for the record, out of respect for ourselves and the truth of our experience. Just remember, we do that, we speak our piece for us, and not with any expectation of actually being heard, understood, or validated by the narcissist in any way. People who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism aren't going to hear you, see you, validate you, your feelings, or your experience. So remember, if you want the ultimate revenge, you have to let go of the idea of ever being heard or understood, never mind winning the right fight. If you decide to speak your piece, know that it's about being your own champion, advocating for yourself, and you do that one time, period. And then you turn on your heel and walk away. And if possible, you close the door behind you permanently, which leads me to my next point. Understand that this isn't about what's fair. The reality is, when you begin to take better care of yourself, when you start to take your power back, there will be some pushback, some collateral damage, and some losses. And without question, that's not fair. The truth is, you may lose some friendships or relationships in the process. You may have to stop going to places you've gone before. You may even have to move or change jobs, or both. And of course, all things considered, that's absolutely not fair. But this isn't about what's fair. It's about what works, what gets the job done. The job being you being free of the emotional and psychological neglect, if not outright abuse. And for the record, emotional and psychological neglect is abuse, by the way, in case you were wondering. So, if you must, say what you need to say one time, as clearly and succinctly as possible. Then, if at all possible, stop engaging entirely, and then go win. And how do you do that? Well, how do you win as a means of getting the ultimate revenge? The very first place you start would be by committing to a healing and recovery journey. It's very difficult to manifest and attract what you'd rather be living and experiencing with a mind, heart, and body full of pain, trauma, confusion, fear, and a mountain of self-doubt and limiting beliefs brought on by the years, if not decades, of narcissistic abuse. The truth is, if we don't commit to healing the stuff that holds us back, we run the risk of bypassing, meaning never actually dealing with what we carry subconsciously that is affecting our efforts to manifest and create a better life experience for ourselves. In other words, if we try to sidestep the real healing and recovery work, all we're really doing with our manifesting efforts is putting a nice thick coat of pink paint over a pile of manure. And the problem with this is, no matter what we try, nothing works, because the manure is still there, and it still stinks. So, muster the courage to do your healing and recovery work. Specifically, do the work to heal your wounded inner child, no matter how old you are. We all have one. And he or she is the doorway to your brilliance and greatest creativity, your divine nature, and your personal power, your greatest joy, divine guidance, and your best life, for real. So make contact with those deep wounded aspects of yourself and do your healing work. And if you need help with this, you're likely an excellent candidate for one of my coaching programs. Click the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. And in addition, there's also a brand new free gift section in the description below this video as well. So be sure to avail yourself of that. Next, get clear about what you want, what you actually want. You know, I talk to people every day, and one of the questions I ask them is, what do you want? And here's how I phrase it. If you could wave a magic wand and have your ideal situation, say 6 to 12 months from now, what would that look and feel like for you? And do you know that at the very least, half of the people that I speak to can't answer that question? And I'm not talking to 20-year-olds. My clients are 40 plus. Many of them are in their 50s, 60s, and some of them even in their 70s. And other than wanting more peace and self-confidence, which of course is a good place to start, they literally do not know what they want. And the thing about that is, you can't hit a target you're not aiming for. So start there. Get crystal clear on what you want, right down to the details. What would it look like? What would it feel like? What would it sound like? What would it smell like? Literally, feel into it with all of your senses and do that daily. Here's the thing. If you showed up at the airport not knowing where you wanted to go, you wouldn't get very far, would you? Well, the same applies with creating and manifesting a better life for yourself, or even better, your dream life, which I promise you is absolutely the ultimate revenge. So you have to get clear and stay clear daily. Otherwise, how will you know whether or not you're moving in the right direction? And know that it's never too late to create the life you'd rather be living. If not now, when? Next, decide. There is incredible power in making a decision. When we are grounded in a clear, energetic decision, all divine benevolent forces get behind us to support us in moving in the direction of our heart's desire. Again, there is power in your internal certainty, beyond what you might imagine. So make a decision. Once you're clear about what you want, decide that you will have it. You will find a way. You can and will figure it out. And be willing to step into the magic of life. Have faith in something greater than yourself, knowing that you can and will have all the assistance you need. All you have to do is get aligned and stay aligned through your clarity and the power of your decision. Get the power of your thoughts and words, your heart, and your actions behind and in support of yourself. In other words, back yourself. Know your desired outcome and anchor into the belief that it is possible, or better yet, it's inevitable. And in doing so, here's what will happen. All of your stuff is going to come up. All of it, which is perfect. This is how you know where your work is. Question what you do and do not feel worthy of. What are you afraid of having? Challenge yourself around what you truly want. Then tell yourself the ultimate truth about all of these things. Who are you? Whom are you becoming? And what are you worthy of? What you deserve? Then act accordingly from that place. And when you don't like what you're living, when it isn't aligned with what you say you want and the ultimate truth of who you are, you figure out a way to move forward towards something different, something better, something more aligned to the truth of who you are at your core. You decide, you do the mental work, you do the emotional work, you do the energetic work, and you back that up with inspired action, doing the next right thing. And if you don't know what the next right thing is, you decide by affirming something like, all of the answers and solutions I need are coming to me now. Thank you. And in doing so, you actively and continually choose who you are and what you get to experience in this world, what you're moving towards. And you make that decision over and over and over until each time carrying the frequency and anchoring in the power of your pure decision more fully and completely. And this is how you actually begin to embody your new truth, your elevated and perhaps impeccable even standards and boundaries, creating and attracting, knowing and being. And the continual choosing of what is and is not aligned, what is and is not a match, what is and is not for my highest good and for the good of all concerned, aligned with the vision you have for yourself and your life, your best life. This is how you begin to create better for yourself. And this is how you take the ultimate revenge, disengaging from the destructive narcissist and moving in the direction of living your best life as your best self. Progressively over time, getting on the path, doing the healing and recovery work so you can stop repeating the painful patterns, getting crystal clear about what you want, making a firm decision to go for it, and then backing yourself by going for it one day, one next right step, one next right action over time. And one day you wake up and look around and your entire world is different, better. You've recreated yourself from the inside out. You're happy and at peace. Your life is characterized by love, abundance, freedom, and prosperity. Your life has meaning and purpose. And I promise you, there is no sweeter revenge than you growing into the you were always meant to be. It's time now. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, you should know that the Ascension class is open for enrollment. Now, this is for you if you're ready and able to invest in yourself, you're ready to shift your identity, master the law of attraction, heal your relationship with money, and put a full stop end to the limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors that are holding you back and preventing you from living your best life. If you're ready to reinvent yourself from the inside out, create your dream life by design, and finally become the you were always meant to be, click the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.